Hey guys, Ellie here. So it was a great 2-1 victory over Man City in the Carabao Cup yesterday for Tottenham. Unbelievably, our friend Timo Werner scored the opening goal in the 5th minute of the game. Who would have thought that? I thought that he actually did work really hard. He ran down the line, he crossed a lot. I'd say 50% of his crosses weren't accurate or were too late or passed too early. But there's no doubt he is working. He just needs a bit of luck, a bit of confidence. But, he's no comparison to Son and no replacement. If Son had been on the pitch instead of him, he definitely would have got a hat trick. I think Timo had the possibility actually to get 4 more opportunities and he squandered all of them. So that's very sad. The good news is that Pape Mata Sarr had a rocket second goal, and I didn't even think that would go in. That came from a short corner, and I kind of don't really like short corners. But for this reason, it worked. So I kind of was interested in that. And then, very annoyingly, we let a Man City goal in right on the edge of half time. And that's probably like the worst time it could have happened. But maybe it was good. And I feel like there were some good substitutions and good use of substitutions to avoid people on a second yellow or to avoid people injuring themselves even further. I was very worried when I saw Mickey van der Ven going down holding his hamstring. This always looks like bad news. With our luck, the injuries are just going to pile up. But this is where I feel that the kids are going to come into play. So we're already seeing the young people like Archie Gray very well establishing themselves, especially Archie, more so than Lucas Bergvall or indeed Mikey Moore, even though that would have been Mikey's 3rd game in a row. But at least he didn't start this one, so that's good news. So now it's on to Aston Villa in the Premier League, and also not really looking forward to it. I think they've pulled the wool over our eyes for the last couple of times we've met, and that isn't great. So I think that I had a message from someone saying, isn't it ironic that that Tottenham can be beaten by Crystal Palace one game and then go on to defeat Man City in the next game? But that's pretty typical of what we've seen of Tottenham. I just want to read out one message that I got from Michael in New Jersey, and this is before Timo's goal. So before Timo had a chance to, and it's really long, so bear with me. But in before Timo scored this goal, and so this is his opinion on Timo. The crowd should be behind Werner no matter what, because if he's got what we've got, and if he's what Postecoglou puts out there, then fans should do all in their power to make a positive impact on the guy. He just needs a boost from his surroundings, enough of a boost to take a chance on something that maybe he wouldn't otherwise, and maybe something results in a jammy goal off of someone's rear end, but it would be something for him, which is more than what he's doing and getting at the moment. He just needs something good to happen, something good to come off. Thank you, Michael, for writing that, because I think that was you were very prescient in your prognostication there. And then Michael had the following to say about Ange generally. In terms of Postecoglou, he's only said that he usually wins something in his second season. He didn't say that he's going to win something this season because it's his second. A journalist asked him a few weeks ago if he maybe regrets having said that, because it doesn't look like he's got the team in place where all the gears have engaged. And he said he doesn't regret it because he was just stating a fact and nothing more. Wasn't promising anyone a win of everything or anything this season. But until it ceases to be true, it's a fact he's not afraid of acknowledging. And as far as looking for sources of motivation, he wondered why wouldn't he allow himself that recall and that acknowledgement of this very positive trend. of typically winning something in the second season. And I can't say I disagree with him or hold anything against him. The media and opposition fans will keep ripping into him if Spurs don't win anything this season, but I don't think he cares. I think what he does care about, though, is Spurs fans. I think that situation where Spurs fans made clear they'd want Spurs to lose to Man City last season to ensure Arsenal don't win the league, that rattled him. I think he must have thought, how are we ever going to shake whatever loser mentality that took hold here across the organisation and its fan base in the last 30 years if their focus is more on Arsenal losing than Tottenham winning? It was a bit of a fallout between him and the fans. And as much as I hope for Arsenal losses week in, week out, I was with Postecoglou then. I thought the Spurs game against Man City was more important in terms of what it meant for Spurs than what it meant for Arsenal. I hope he didn't think of that moment similarly to how he felt about Australia at large, making it obvious that they don't care about his vision. And that's mostly why he left Team Australia, I understand. Thank you, Michael, for that very long and descriptive passage that you wrote me. Always I look forward to reading your text messages. Actually, I look forward to reading everyone's text messages because I think it's quite interesting. So on the topic of he just stated a fact, I win things in my second season. I typically win things. Yes, it's a fact. You didn't have to state it. On the other hand, he said he's not a supporter of the club. He's an employee. He's employed right now as the head coach, and that's it. And his job is to help us build this team and be successful in whatever way that is, whether that's developing players or developing a style or developing a project. So, but Tottenham fans, I think, would think that actually winning silverware is part of that development and part of that project. So I think it goes both ways here. And then Michael texts me later on and he says, this was a huge win. We should have had a third when Timo ran onto the ball from within our own half, but he was back in his shell by then. No matter, it was a good day. So, yeah, I really appreciate you sending me that, Michael. It's very good food for thought. But anyway, yeah, I think that it's obvious Timo is still pretty fragile at the moment. And like I said, I think he could benefit from the use of a hypnotist. So whether you use a vision board as hypnosis or you use little post-it notes, you know, when you write a post-it note to yourself and you write things on it and say, every morning you look at the post-it note in the mirror when you brush your teeth and say, today is going to be my day, like in American Beauty or what. Affirmations. Small affirmations over time sink into the mind, into the brain, and they can actually change your point of view and your mentality. So I think that if he does that with some help of some professionals, I mean, I do that. It's like an aid memoir. Before I go and give a presentation at a conference or a customer meeting or something, I have a little note written down, even in this like index cards. So I use index cards like this and I just write the notes on. And the notes don't even have to be very complicated. They can be less than 8 words, 5 to 8 words on a little aid memoir, and I stick it in my pocket. And when I can't remember something, I just look down and I look at this little index card, and then I've got whatever it was that I needed to remind myself. And I think that's not a bad visual aid. So, all right, let's see what happens against Aston Villa.